Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. In yesterday's class, we have seen till until. Okay. We have seen till 40 questions. Today, we are going to continue with the rest of the paper. And again, okay. Just repeating myself from yesterday. Okay. The paper. Okay. If you the paper checks for accuracy much more than that of previous years. If you are comfortable with a few topics, and if you are able to do your round 1 questions clearly, questions, okay, for which you know the answer and you can solve the question within 1 minute, okay, there were enough round 1 questions, okay. There will be a PDF or a document linked in the comment section. Okay, in either of the videos you could see, and not only you could get the answer, because the answers have been verified almost 5 to 6 times. Okay, hardly there are any mistakes in that. So I could guarantee you a 98% accuracy. You could see which questions need to be done in a round 1. Always the preferred method for solving any competitive in rounds. Okay, the first questions or within a few minutes itself. Okay. And yesterday, after seeing through the whole paper, okay, your key will also contain. I have not done for passages, because passages everyone will have their own speed. But for every quantity, aptitude or reasoning questions, I have given you a preference for which should be round 1 and round 2. Okay, and you will see from the key that there are enough round 1 questions to easily clear the cutoff. I hope many of you have done so, and I pray for God that clear prelims. Okay, so let us just like the process that we have followed yesterday. We are not just going to see what is the answer, we are also going to see if there are discrepancies, because many institutes have devised different answers for the same question. So we will see if there are any discrepancies, why the answer we think is the best. Okay, I hope this is okay. Now let's start. Okay, let's start with till 40. Now let's do 41. Okay, and this is a round 1 question, or that you need to cater to this afterwards. Okay, so passage. Over the next 30 years, to move to net zero carbon, implying that household emissions will have to cut. Okay, household emissions will have close to nothing. Okay, a leading climate scientist reckons that at best half the reduction might be achieved through demand side measures. Okay, at best half the reduction demand. So whenever you do something, you will always have a supply side. Okay, you will always have a and demand side is here. What is it? It is households. Okay, just by doing demand side measure, that means if you just focus on whatever thing a household could do, okay, you could only ensure at least or at best half the reduction, okay, such as behavior changes by individuals and households. Okay, so this is explaining this, and even that would require companies and governments to provide more incentives supply side investment. Even this, at best 50% demand needs, either by governments or by companies of cutting the carbon emissions or cutting net zero. More and discussion of the passage is for reducing this carbon zero, especially in households, we definitely need supply side measures like incentives, so on and so forth. I hope most of you will agree. Now let us see the question. Which one of the following statement best reflects the idea conveyed by the passage. Okay, which of the best sentence? The passage. Moving to net zero carbon, moving to net possible only by reduction in house. Is that the central idea? Passage emphasizing that until and unless you do household reduction in household emissions, you cannot do net zero. No, although this was a okay, this was will is all this passage is about. This is just a one part of the line. Okay, you might have seen. Okay, this is a passage. This is only one idea, but what that the incentives that are important. Although this is one of yeah, but it is passage is not emphasizing that whether it is possible without household emissions or not. Okay, that is never the point of discussion. The point supply side measures. Okay, so definitely wrong. Okay, low carbon very them. This is what it is talking. Household okay measures, and even that 50% needs supply side measures. Okay, the main idea is low carbon behavior in people can be brought about by incentivizing them. Cheaper goods and services can be available to people by using low. Talking about that whether goods or services will be provided by low carbon technologies or not. No, never. Okay, manufacturing industries that use low carbon technology should be provided with subsidies. What are we talking? Whole discussion. What was the subject here? The whole passage was discussing about household emissions. These household emissions need to be okay almost to nil. Okay, the whole discussion was regarding that. Manufacturing industries coming. Okay, so I hope okay, there is no ambiguity regarding the answer. The answer is definitely B. Okay, with this in mind, let's go for the next one. With reference to the above have been made, supply side investments in companies, okay, companies can result in low carbon. You see, supply side investments companies, supply side investments in companies can result in low carbon people. Do you think that is correct or not? You see, these are what I call rotten words. Okay, let's see this. Even that would require companies and governments to provide, okay, to change through supply side investments to make, okay, carbon much more, through supply side investment to make low carbon options cheaper and more widely available. Okay, so supply side investments in companies, okay, when you do supply side investments in companies, okay, to produce, okay, more low carbon options, to produce more low carbon options can result in low carbon behavior in people. Yes, right. Okay, this is what it is talking. Even that companies and governments to provide more incentives to change through supply side investments. Okay, through supply to make low carbon options cheaper and widely available. Okay, so when you invest in, okay, can result, you see, possibility. It does not say that it will guaranteely do that, but we get an inkling of from the passage that if you do supply side investment in companies, it may lead to more low carbon options, and that may change result in people. Okay, so this is definitely true. People are not capable of adapting low carbon behavior. No, the passage is never talking about that. Okay, what is the option telling? Option is telling that without the government of help, people, okay, government and companies help from supply side measures, people can't do it. But the passage is not telling that. Okay, Okay, it was never discussion regarding whether people can do it or not. Okay, it needs, what it needs is government side. Okay, so it is not, the passage does not talk about capability of people, it only talks about what are the measures needed, what are the measures needed. So this is definitely wrong. Okay, the answer is A. Okay, in only 15 years, the world's consumption of raw materials has nearly quadrupled to more than 100 billion tons. Less than 9% of this is reused. Okay, less than 9% of this is reused. Batteries of old materials such as lithium, cobalt, manganese that are pricey. Okay, you see, why are we giving batteries here? Okay, he has introduced the passage telling that okay, the use of materials has quadrupled. Okay, and less than 10% of it, less than 10% of it is reused. And why are batteries coming here? So batteries act an example to tell you that whatever the materials that are being used, they are not being recycled. Okay, so battery is an example here, or a detail. He is explaining this concept. So main idea will be, we are not doing enough recycling. Okay, batteries of old vehicles contain materials such as lithium, cobalt, manganese, nickel that are pricey and can be hard to obtain. Supply chains are long and complicated. Buyers are being aggravated by their suppliers' poor environmental and labor standards. So he is telling all the risks that are associated with not doing recycling. Okay, labor and standards. Reusing materials makes sense. Once the batteries reach the ends, okay, the ends of their life, they should go back to a factory where their ingredients can be recovered and put into new batteries, So what is the passage telling? Main idea. Okay, when you read the passage, you should, before going to the answer, you should have of what is the main idea that the passage discusses. Okay, we need to recycle. Okay, okay, I hope this is clear. Now let's go for which of the following statements best reflects the most logical, rational and pragmatic message. Okay. Green economy is not possible without reusing critical minerals. Okay, so is the passage talking about possibilities of thing? Okay, possibilities of green economy without reusing criticals. Okay, what is the passage talking? Passage talking about suppose if I can give you in different terms. Okay, okay, India needs to, suppose I discuss a passage or I give a statement telling that India needs good quality primary education. Okay, India needs good quality primary education, but does that mean I say that okay, without good quality education India does not survive? No, you see, there are two different things. Okay, for something to be, okay, to be possible, okay, a need is different. Okay, a need is different from an impossibility. Okay, we all need good education, but does that not mean without good education we can't survive? Okay, these two are two different things. Okay, so I hope you are able to get the drift with the example. Okay, our passage is telling that we should do recycling of materials. Why? Because there are various risks involved, but does it say that without recycling we cannot do? Okay, so this is definitely wrong. Every sector of the economy should adopt the reuse of materials. Is it talking about that? Okay, all the passage is talking about we have used, okay, our consumption of materials has increased. Okay, does that mean every sector should do that? Okay, so it might be the feeling there, but I see no evidence in the passage. I am restricted by the limits bound upon me by the passage. Okay, I will only take an option. Okay, which for which I find a reflection in the passage. Okay, the passage never tells that all every sector of the economy should adapt to the use of materials, and that too immediately. Karna hai. Okay, is there something regarding time in the passage? No. Okay, so this is wrong. Circular economy can be beneficial for sustainable growth. Circular economy is same. Okay, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, this is what the passage suggests, right? Economy can be beneficial for sustainable growth. Next, circular use of material resources is the only option for some survival. Are we talking about that? Is there any discussion that these will survive only if we take up recycling? Do you find any of this in the passage? Okay, so the answer is C. Okay, I have seen some people, some institutes suggesting A, but that is not fair. Okay, because all of this seems to be an idea, but the passage never talks about possibility and all. Okay, but clearly the correct answer is C. Okay. With reference to the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. Automobile factories are examples of circular economy. Okay, automobile factories are examples of circular economy. What was the example that we have taken in there? The passage discusses battery. Okay, the passage discusses battery. Is battery only used in automobile? Okay, it can be used in other sectors too, right? Okay, so but in automobiles we use batteries. So the passage was talking about battery. What is the option doing? Your option has increased the scope, broadened the scope to include whole automotive factories. An automotive factory may not use a battery. Okay, a battery is an automotive factory may work on engines, it may work on gears. Okay, so you cannot take the leniency, okay, to include battery as an automotive factory, to include the whole of automotive as just a battery factory. Okay, so economic growth is compatible with circular use of mineral resources. Okay, this is what the passage is talking about. Okay, economic growth. Okay, just one second. Economic growth is compatible with circular use of mineral resources. Okay, be careful. At the outset this may looks like true. Okay, economic growth, TK, the passage is discussing that we need recyclable this thing. Okay, we need recyclability, but is the passage talking about economic growth? Let's just go back. Okay, the world consumption raw materials has nearly quadrupled, less than 9%. Batteries of old vehicles can be hard. You see, anywhere do you see an economic growth? Okay, does the passage tell you that if you do recyclability, okay, or without recycling materials, okay, we cannot grow economically? Where is, okay, show me a link between passage discussing economic growth and recyclability. Okay, is the passage talking about that? Okay, if you recycle, the economy will grow. Okay, an economy, okay, may remain stagnant, it may grow or it may reduce. Okay, all the passage is talking about our recyclability. Okay, recyclability should be, okay, recyclability should be used or promoted more. Okay, should be used or promoted more. Does the passage tell that, okay, this will lead to economic growth? Okay, nowhere in the passage is the link between recyclability and economic growth given. Okay, even for sustaining the same economy you may need recyclability. Okay, we cannot tell because there is no such evidence in the passage. Okay, so So although this may appear, okay, I have seen few institutes going for this, okay, to be only, okay, but the answer is both are wrong, okay. It is neither 1 nor 2, okay. It is neither 1 nor 2, okay. So this is 44. Okay. Now we are back to quantitative aptitude questions. Okay. Now this is pipes and cisterns. Okay. Now, okay. Just like how we have discussed all Q&A problem, we'll see a normal way. Okay. We'll see a normal way and we'll see an efficient way. I will just suggest you how normally people do. Okay, a set of 20 pipes can fill 70% of a tank. Okay, 70% of a tank in 14 minutes. Okay, 70% of a tank in 14 minutes. Okay, set X. Okay, first you will find out. Okay, in how much time? Okay, can fill. Okay, can all these pipes fill a full tank? Okay, for example, take this set of X which has 20 pipes. Okay, 20 pipes. Okay, 70% in 14 minutes. Okay, so 1% will be 14 by 70, 100% will be this. Okay. Okay, 20 minutes. In the same way, Y. Okay. So 20 pipes. Okay, 20 pipes, 20 minutes. So each pipe will. Okay, how much time does it need to fill the tank? Okay, 20 into 20, it is 400 minutes. In the same way, each pipe of X, you find out what is each pipe of Y does. Okay, you will get some value Y. Each pipe of Z. Okay. In how many minutes will it take to remove the whole okay, or empty the whole tank? Okay, now you get these ideas. So how many pipes are used? Okay, if half of the pipes, okay, so 10 into, okay, so one pipe takes 400 minutes, so 10 pipe takes 40 minutes. Okay, 10 pipe takes 40 minutes. And next Y pipe in the same way. Okay, one pipe is Y, so 10 pipe will take Y by 10 minutes. And okay, next Z pipe. Okay, Z pipes will take 50% of the tank, since all the okay set are open. So this will take Z. Okay, you will get the efficiency here. Okay, take any work by the efficiency, you will get how much is this. Okay, so the normal way is, I hope you have understood. Okay, just find out first time for the total tank, and next time for each set of pipe. For X pipe, how much time does it take to fill? Okay, for Y, how much time does it take to fill a tank? And for Z, how much time will it take to empty the tank? Okay, and then multiply by the number of pipes that are being used. Okay, and then find out. Okay, so instead of doing all that, instead of finding out, okay, instead of finding out for each pipe, okay, you can easily do it by LCM. Okay, once you approach the values here, instead of finding one pipe, because okay, if you read the question clearly, okay, I specify this whenever in each and every class. Okay, rather than solving the question, okay, the way of solving the question is also important. You see, X of 20 pipes. Okay, the value given are X are 20 pipes. Okay, this is the most efficient way. Okay, we have seen how to do in a normal way. Now we will see this. Okay, so 70% of the tank. Okay, so 70%, 20 pipes, 70% of the tank. So what is 70%? Okay, one more one more point I repeatedly mention in the class is, always you should have the flexibility to convert percentages to ratios. 70% is what? 7 by 10. Okay, 7 by 10 of the capacity, 7 by 10 of the capacity is done in 40 minutes. So whole capacity will be done in 14 by 7 into 20. okay, 7 2s, okay, 40 minutes. Sorry. So the whole tank will be filled in 14 into 10 by 7, okay. So 20 pipes take 20 minutes to fill the tank, okay. Next, in the same way, how many Y pipes are there? Y pipes, 10 pipes. Y pipes are 10 pipes. They fill 3/8 of the tank. 3/8 of the tank in 6 minutes. Okay, so the whole tank will be filled in 6 into 8 by 3. Okay, 3 2, which is 16 minutes. Next, Z. All Z is how many? 16 pipes. Okay, Z is 16 pipes, which can empty half of the tank in 20 minutes. Okay, half of the tank in 20 minutes. That means whole tank will be empty in how many minutes? Okay, whole tank will be empty in how many minutes? 40 minutes. Okay. Once you come here, no need to go for how many tank. Okay, now see how many pipes are being used at the end. Okay, half of X. So there are 20 pipes, 20 X pipes, but you are using only 10. Okay, so 20 pipes fill in 20 minutes. So 10 pipes will fill in 40 minutes. Okay, so used pipes are, okay, 10 of X pipes will take 40 minutes. Next, only half of pipes of, if half of the pipes of set Y are open and only half of the pipes of set Y are open. Okay, so Y of Y of 5 pipes, okay, 16 minutes, so it will have to be, okay, 32 minutes. Next, all pipes of, okay, all pipes of set Z are open. Okay, all pipes of set Z are open, so Z will drain the tank in how many minutes? 40 minutes. Okay, since all sets are open. Now you see, this is, okay, this is draining, this is, okay, X is filling the tank and Z is draining the pump. You see, draining the tank. You see, both are of same capacity. So what will be the net? 0. Okay, so to fill the tank, okay, to fill the tank, 5 pipes of Y will take 32 minutes. How much we need to fill the tank? We need to fill the tank 50% of the tank. So half of the tank will be filled in 16 minutes. Okay, half of the tank will be filled in 16 minutes. Okay, so this is the best way to solve this problem. Okay, rather than going one pipe. Okay, it is just an extra step. You see the initial value, what is the final value asking? Okay, since all the final values are a ratio of initial values, you could okay, you could neglect or you could not, you could, okay, you could save some time by not going through, okay, capacity for each pipe. Okay, I hope this is clear. Next, if n is a natural number, then what is the number of distinct remainders of 1, okay, 1 power n and 1 plus, okay, 1 power n plus 2 power n. You see, when divided by 4. Okay, okay, there are many ways. Okay, one way is you just substitute values of n. Okay, if I substitute n is equals to 0, what will it be? 1 plus 2 power 0. Okay, n is a natural number, so n equal to 0 is not possible. Why? 0 is a whole number. Okay, that means we are starting with n. Keep n is equals to 1. 1 plus 2, so it is 3. The remainder is 3. 3 by 4 is 3 again. Next, keep n is equals to 2. What will it be? Okay, 1 plus 2 power 2, 4, 5. Okay, so the remainder is 1. Keep 3. Okay, 1 plus 2 cube, 8. The remainder is still 1. Okay, so how many number of distinct remainders? Okay, only 3 and 1. Okay, so the answer is C2. Okay, so another way is you could just do this from here. 1 plus n plus, okay, 2 power of n by, what is 4? 4 is nothing but 2 power 2. Okay, when will this get divided? When n is greater than, okay, 1, n is greater than or equals to 2. Okay, so when n is greater than or equals to 2, this gets divided, so we'll always be left with 1 to the power of n. But okay, we'll get only a distinct remainder only when n is equals to 1. So 1 plus 2 will be 3. So how many distinct? It is the same. Okay, if n is a natural number, what is the number of distinct remainders? So it is 2. There are 2 distinct remainders. Okay. Next, what is the 489th digit? Okay, in the number 1, 2, 3. Okay, you see, it is like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Next, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so they are using spaces concept. Okay, in this way, okay, which number occupies the 489th space? Okay, 489th space. You see, all these digits till 9 will occupy one space for each other. One space for each other. Okay, if you remember, okay, this is the exact question. Okay, there in the revision series that we have conducted. Okay, in the number systems, this was the first question that was discussed in the passage. Okay, so not even, I was surprised when I saw this question. Okay, not even the value has been changed. Okay, in the same question we have discussed in the revision classes. Okay, the answer is 9, but I'll explain why it is. Okay, spaces and numbers. Okay, you could remember this for future this thing too. Okay, so 9 numbers. Okay, there are 9 digits which will occupy each one space. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there are 9 such. Next, with 10, what will start? Numbers which will occupy 2 spaces. 10 occupies 2 spaces, 11 occupies 2 spaces. Okay, so how many such numbers are there? There are 90. Next, 3. Okay, there will be 900. Okay, this is the pattern. 4 will be 9000. Okay, so I hope you remember this. Okay, but what do we need to find? We just need to find what is the digit that occupies 489 space. Okay, so now space is occupied. 9 numbers will okay act as one space. 90 numbers will occupy, each number will occupy 2 spaces. So it will do 180 spaces. Okay, so the total number of spaces occupied by 2 digits is 189. So how many we need? Okay, so after this we travel to 3 digits. Okay, we go into 3 digit criteria. Okay, so 489 minus of 189. Okay, that is, the gap is 300. Okay, so 300 is occupied by digits. Okay, 300 is occupied by numbers which are of 3 digits. Okay, so how many such numbers are there? That means there are 100 such numbers. Okay, there are 100 such numbers. Okay, so 100 numbers starting from what? Okay, so this will 2 numbers. Okay, we are going till 99 and 100 numbers after this. Okay, 100 numbers after 99 is 199. Okay, so 489th digit is, okay, the last one. Okay, which is 199. So the answer is 9. Okay, so you could go, okay, even beyond this. Someone might ask, okay, 5, 6, 7, 2 digit. Okay, for every of for any such problem, just remember this scale. Okay, 1 space, 2 space, 3 space. This will all be multiples of okay, 10 multiples of 9. 9, 90, 900, 9000, and next even for 5 digits it will be 90,000. Okay, so just compute this. Okay, the number of spaces occupied will be, there will be multiples of 90. Okay, 9 2s are 18. Next will be 2700. Next will be 36,000. Okay, you see, zeros will keep on increasing. 9 also will keep on. Okay, the multiples of 9 come with zeros increased. Okay, I hope you got the answer for this. Okay, so 1 to 9. Okay, I just want to represent this in this. Okay, single digit numbers 1 to 9. Next, from 10 to 99. Okay, these are 9 digits. From 10 to 99 there are 90 digits which will occupy 2 spaces. From, okay, from 100 to, okay, 100 to 199, okay, for 100 to 199 there are 100 digits which will occupy 3 spaces, okay. So the last digit is 9, okay. So the answer for this is 9. Okay, and okay, I hope this is clear. This is just makki ki makki was discussed in the revision classes, okay, the same question. Next. A mobile phone has been stolen. There are 3 suspects, P, Q and R. They were questioned knowing that only one of them is guilty. Only one of them is guilty. Their responses are as follows. Okay, I have seen many people trying to do this. Okay, question thinking. You see, the information they have provided, one of them is guilty, but have they provided that everyone is telling a truth, or some is telling the truth, or someone is telling the lie? If you don't know somebody is telling a truth or a false, how can you justify the veracity of it? And you see, everybody is telling that he didn't steal. P said I did not steal. Q said I did not steal. R said I did not steal. Okay, so how do you know these are truth or not? Because no information regarding truth has been provided. So simply it is cannot be concluded. You see, UPSC, okay, plays certain tricks like this, okay, where you need not go deep into the question, okay, you just need to see whether the information is there or not, okay. So the answer is B. Okay, 3 teams PQR participated in a tournament in which teams play with one another exactly once. So okay, so PQ plays once, okay, PR plays once and QR plays once. You see, twice. P is playing twice, Q is playing twice and R is playing twice, okay. A win fetches a team 2 points and a draw is 1 point, okay. So 2, 1 and okay, no point for a loss and no point for a loss. Each team scored exactly 1 goal in the tournament, okay. So goals scored in the tournament are 1, 1 and 1, okay. Team P got 3 points, okay. Team P got 3 points, okay. P got 3 points, Q, R, okay. Q got 3 points, Q got 2 points and R got 1 point. The following is are correct, okay. Now you see, the result of the match between P and Q is a draw with score 0-0. The number of goals scored by R against Q is 1, okay. So we need to match, okay, we need to match the points with this. You see, P has played 2 matches and it has, okay, it got 3 points. So what are the possibilities here? The possibilities is only 2 plus 1. That means there is a win, okay, there is a win and a draw. Q played 2 matches, it got 2 points. So definitely it has to be 1 plus 1, which has to be a draw and a draw. And R played 2 matches but it got only 1 point. That means it might have, okay, it must lose 1 game and another game must have been a draw, okay, draw plus win. Now simply, okay, sorry, draw plus, okay, 1 point for the draw, okay, and for loss no points. You see, just use a simple logic. Don't think array, okay, don't think this is that complex, okay. Just to think of this, if somebody draws, okay, both the team will get 1 point, right? Next, if somebody wins, okay, when can you tell a team, okay, a team has won? When you can, okay, if a team wins, that means the other team has to lose, right? If one team wins, that means automatically the other team is lost, okay. You see, where is a loss and where is a win? That means, okay, so Q does not have any losses, okay. That means the match between P and R, okay, is 1 by P. Okay, so how can P win? P can win when only it scores more goals than R. Okay, so this is done now. Okay, next, what is the second match for P? It has played one match with R, so it has to play another match with Q, and that is a draw. So PQ match is a draw. Okay, and one goal is scored by each of the team. Okay, and only one goal is scored, and P has already scored its goal. That means the draw is 0-0. You see, Q must score one goal, but with the match with Q, it has scored no goals. That means Q must score one goal. Okay, so this draw and this draw is done. Now what are left? Okay, the match between Q and R is a draw again. Okay, the match between Q and R is a draw again. Okay, how can it be a draw? Because you see, R has not scored a goal. R has not scored a goal. It has 0. That means it needs to score a goal now. So the draw is 1-1, 1-0 and 0-0. Okay, so the result of the match between P and Q, is a draw with a score 0-0. Excellent. Next, the number of goals scored by R against Q. R against Q is 1. Okay, so this is both 1 and 2 are true. Okay, both 1 and 2 are true. It is hard to predict how changes. Okay, I hope this is clear. So this is definitely you can do it in round 2 or a round 1 question. Okay, once you identify that there are only few possibilities there, either a win or a draw, and this. Okay, within just 2 statements you could find the answer. Okay, and this is definitely a round 1 question. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, it is hard to predict how changes in the climate and atmosphere's chemistry will affect the prevalence and virulence of agricultural diseases. Okay, it is hard to predict how changes in climate, okay, affects diseases. Okay, but there is a risk that such changes will make some plant infections more common in all the climatic zones. That means some plant infections will be found throughout all the climatic zones. Okay, perhaps catastrophically so. Okay, part of the problem is that centuries of selective breeding have refined genomes of most high value crops. Okay, centuries of selective breeding have refined genomes of most high value crops. They are spectacular at growing in today's condition, but genetic variations that are not immediately useful to them have been bred out. This is good for yields but bad for coping with changes. A minor disease or even an unknown one could suddenly rampage through a genetically honed crop. Okay, so what is the passage telling? Okay, we don't know what climate, okay, what climate will do to diseases. Okay, there might be a risk that okay, few diseases will be found out throughout the world. Okay, few diseases will be found out throughout the world. Okay, by genetically honing the crop, what have we done? We have made them comfortable in our present conditions, and we have filtered all the genes, okay, which give them adaptability, So if a small problem occurs, okay, throughout the world, then okay, it will cause destruction. Okay, that is what, okay, a minor disease or even an suddenly rampage through a genetically honed crop. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, next. Which one of the following statement best reflects the central idea given in the passage? Okay, which one of the following reflects the central idea given in the passage? Okay, global climate change, adverse. Are we talking about sustainability or of our present crops? Okay, all the passage is talking about our crops. They may survive in this moment, but okay, if the climate changes or something bad happens, okay, we cannot guarantee them being there. Okay, so we are not talking about rather productivity, we are talking about survivability. So A is definitely wrong. Okay, total dependence on genetically entails possible food insecurity. Now, I have seen some of the institute picking this. Okay, we will see at the end. Okay, our food security should not depend on agricultural productivity alone. Okay, this is also in reflection of what the ideas being given in the passage. Okay, next, genetically honed crops should be replaced with their wild varieties in our present cultivation. Is it telling that we should change our present agricultural practices so that this? No, we are just talking about a problem. Okay, option D is talking about a solution, but the passage is talking about, because we are using so much of genetically modified crops, we may run into a problem. Okay, now, okay, focus on B and C. Okay, whenever you tick an answer or whenever you choose an answer, that okay, each and every part of the answer should be reflected in idea. Okay, should be reflected in the passage. You could, okay, you cannot mark an answer which has no evidence in the passage. Now, okay, is there any evidence in the passage that we are only totally dependent upon genetic modified crops or genetically honed crops? You see, the passage says we are dependent on genetically honed crops, but does the passage say we are totally dependent on them? Anywhere. It is hard to predict how changes in the climate and atmosphere, okay, but there is a risk that such changes will make some plant infections perhaps catastrophically. So part of the problem is the centuries of selective breeding. Okay, have refined the genomes of most high value crops. It is not total, right? Most of the crops are done, but nowhere in the passage, okay, does it mention our total dependence. We are totally dependent on genetically modified crops. You see, have refined the genomes of most average crops. They are spectacular going into this condition, but genetic variations that are not immediately useful to them have been bred out. This is good for yields, but bad for coping with changes, a minor disease. Okay, so nowhere in the passage we see a reflection that we are totally dependent on the genetically modified crops. Okay, we are totally dependent on genetically modified crops. Okay, so although this appears in sync with the passage, but this total dependence, okay, if the word total was gone, then I would have agreed. Okay, so a total is a bad word which makes this answer false. Okay, next, option C. You see, you will not find any such with option C. Our food security. Okay, what are honed crops? Because of genetically honed crops, we may face food insecurity. Okay, so our food security should not be dependent upon agricultural productivity alone. Okay, what are genetically honed crops? They are honed for productivity. Okay, they do. Okay, they are based only on productivity. So our food security should not be dependent on only agricultural productivity only. Yes, this is what the passage is talking about. Okay, so some institutes have given this, but this is definitely a wrong answer. Okay, suitable answer and much more appropriate answer too. Okay, next, with reference to the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. Okay, global climate change can result in migration of several plant diseases to new areas. Okay, yes, what does the passage tell? The passage tells that, okay, a few diseases may be prevalent throughout the world. Okay, a few diseases may be prevalent throughout the world. That means, how can few diseases be present throughout the world when they migrate only, right? Okay, so this definitely has some evidence in the passage. Okay, can result in migration of several plant diseases to new areas, because the passage is suggesting that, okay, a few plant diseases will have, okay, will have circulation or will be in okay, will be in use or will be in world. Okay, so this is true. scientific understanding of the wild relatives of our present crops would enable us to strengthen food security. That is what we are talking about. Okay, if we just focus on productivity, it carries a risk of insecurity. Okay, it carries a risk of food insecurity. So for our food to be secure, we need to focus on genetics. Okay. So both 1 and 2. Okay, I have seen some people preferring 2, but this is reflected in the passage. Okay, so the correct answer is C. A good statesman, like any other sensible human being, learns from his opponents more than his friends. Okay, learns from his opponents more than from his fervent supporters. For his supporters will push him to disaster unless his opponents show him where the dangers are. Okay, where the dangers are. So if he is wise, he will often pray to be delivered from his friends because they will ruin him. But though it hurts, he ought to pray never to be left without opponents. Okay, so opposition is very important, especially for an statesman. Okay, for they keeping him on the path of reason and good sense. The national unity of free people depends upon a sufficiently even balance of political power to make it impracticable for the administration to arbitrary and for opposition to be revolutionary and reconcilable. Okay, so for national unity of free people, okay, it depends upon a balance. Okay, it depends upon a balance. Okay, if the balance is not there, administration will become, okay, administration or those people in power will become arbitrary. Okay, if you don't find this balance, opposition will become revolutionary. Okay, there should be a balance. That means he should have, okay, every statement should have good opponents too. Okay, that is what the passage is talking about. Okay, now let us see what are the options given. Which of the following statements reflect the best critical message conveyed by the without opposition parties? The administration without opposition parties. Come on, it is talking about, it is going 180 degrees to the passage. It is talking about we need opposition. We need opposition for a responsible democracy. Okay, democracy needs to have revolutionaries in opposition to keep government alert. Nah, in the last, what is the passage doing? Okay, if you don't find a balance, okay, the government will become unaccountable and arbitrary, and opposition will become revolutionary. So this is actually a negative. Okay, so rulers in a democracy need support of opposition for their political survival. Okay, is this what the passage is talking about? Okay, the passage is talking about the existence of an good opposition. It does not tell that the opposition needs to support rulers in a democracy. Okay, those two are very different things. Okay, the passage calls for opposition, does not call for opposition to support the ruling party. Okay, so in a democracy, the opposition is indispensable for the balance of political power and good governance. Okay, just a pick me. Okay, you can find no fault with this option. Okay, so the answer is D. Next one. With reference to the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. In a democracy, a strong opposition is required only if the head of the government is indifferent. Is this what the passage is telling? No. Irrespective of that, okay, a good statement needs good opposition. Okay, it does not give a conditional statement that, okay, if your government is not bad. Okay, this was never, okay, the scope of the passage. The more aggressive the opposition, the better is the governance in a democracy. Nah, okay, we have nowhere discussed whether the opposition should be aggressive or not. All the passage discusses we need a good opposition for a statesman or for good governance. Okay, so it is neither 1 nor 2. Okay, neither 1 nor 2. I hope this is direct and much more clear. Okay, now let's go for next one. Okay, so this is definitely a round 1 problem. Okay, you should have solved this. P is the brother of Q. Okay, P is the brother of Q, so we know the gender of P. P is the brother of Q. Since I don't know the gender of Q, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, Q and R, Q and R, so we don't know the gender of Q and R. Okay, triangle is for male, circle is for a female. T is P's father. Okay, T is P's father. T is P's father. And S is R's mother. You see, P, Q and R are brothers. Okay, if S is R's mother, she must be the mother of P also. So marriage. Okay, so yes. Okay, which of the following statements are definitely true? S and T are couple. Yes. Q is T's son. Yes. T's son. Okay, one second. Do we know the gender of Q? Is it a triangle or this? Okay, Q is T's son. We don't know the gender of Q to tell this. Okay, next. T is Q's father. Yes, T is Q's father. I can agree. S is P's mother. S is P's mother. Yes. R is T's daughter. Do we know the gender of R to tell that R is T's daughter? No. Okay. P is S son. P is S son. Okay. So how many? 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. So only 4. Okay. This is a round 1 question. You should definitely have solved this. Next one. Okay, yesterday while starting the discussion, I have given you some trends. Okay, the first trend was that the focus on has never wavered. Okay, what are the basics? Prime number still 200, cube still 30, square still 50. Okay, and the power still this. Again, this one is what is 40? Okay, N stands for E Jo T. Okay, the code for O is 15, N is 14. Okay, so 14 into 15, it is 210. Okay, same for not. What is N? 14, 15, T is 20. Okay, so again 14 into 15 into 20, you will get 4200, and note is coded as 2100. You see, you need not go on doing this again. Okay, 14, okay, 14, 15, multiply this. Note and notes, what is the difference? Yes, what is the code for S? PQRST. Okay, this is 20, so the code for S is 19. Okay, so 21 into, just calculate 21 into 19. You see how easy UPSC makes. Once you get the logic, okay, you did not even calculate. 1 into 9 will be 9. So pick an option which has 9. Okay, so the answer is 399. Okay, answer is A. Okay, so you should have solved this in the first instance itself. Okay, this is definitely a round 1 question. Okay, there were enough round 1 questions, at least 20 to 25. Okay, if you have solved those, CSAT would have been a cakewalk to you. Next, same, this is also a round 1 question. Okay, you see, we need Yemen, YEMEN. Okay, so look for Y. What is the code for Y? 7. Okay, so you see where is the difference? The difference is at M. Germany, middle one of Germany is 8. So the answer is D. How much time it takes? Okay, hardly 10 to 20 seconds. Okay, so the answer is 71813. Okay, I hope this is clear, and this is again a round 1 question. Okay, okay, clean. A 5-digit number PQRST. Okay, a 5-digit number PQRS and T. is such that t is not equals to 0. Okay, t is not equals to 0 and p is thrice of t. Okay, p is 3t and s is greater than q by 4. S is greater than q by 4. So this is q plus 4, while q is greater than r by 3. Q is greater than r by 3. So r value is, okay, and q is greater than, okay, s is greater than q by 4. So that means, okay, this is q plus 4. What is q? Q is r plus 3. So ultimately it is r plus 7 and it is t. Okay, t is not equals to 0. Okay, 3t. Okay, t is not equals to 0, t and 3t. Okay, how many such 5-digit numbers are possible? How many such 5-digit numbers are possible? You see, t and 3t are there. T and 3t are there. So what is the possibility for 3? Can it be anything more than 3? Okay, 3 into 3 is 9. 3 4s are 12. So can this be 12? No. So the possibilities for 3 are, since it can't be 0, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now see for r plus 7, r plus 7. So what are the possibilities for r plus 7? If r is 3, okay, this will become 10. Okay, this will become 10. So the possibilities for r are 0, 1 and 2. Okay, 0, 1 and 2. Now just okay, take values of t and focus on this. Okay, so if t value is 1, what will be this? This will be 3. Okay, can you put r value 0? If r value is 0, this becomes 3. Okay, so substitute this, r value will be 0 and this will be 7. You see, 3 and 3 comes, so this is not possible. Next, put r value 1. If you put r value 1, okay, this becomes 4, this becomes 8. Is this possible? No. Why? 1 and 1 conflict. Okay, next, put value 2, this becomes 5, this becomes 9. Okay, is there any conflict? 3 5 2 9 1. Okay, so 1 is 3 5 2 9 1. Okay, next, go for t value. We have seen for 1, now go for 2. Okay, now go for 2. If it is 2, the value here is 6. Okay, now can you use 2 here in r? Can you use 2 in r? No, it is not possible. So it is only 0 and 1. Okay, if it is 0, what will this be? This will be 3, this will be 7. If it is 1, what will be the value here? It is 4 and it is 8. Is there any conflict? 6 3 0 7 2, 6 4 1 8 2. Okay, since there is no conflict, how many? 2 are there. Okay, which is 6 3 0 7 2 and 6 4 1 8 2. Next, the possibility for 2 is, for t is 3 and this will give you 9. Okay, so can you put 0 here? Okay, and again r values need to check from 0 1 and 2. Can you put 0 here? If you put 0 here, it will be what? 3 and 7. Is this possible? No. If you put 1 here, the value will be 4 and 8. Is this possible? Yes. 9 4 1 8 and 3. Okay, all are distinct digits. Now if you put 2 here, what will be the value? The value will be 5 and 9. Okay, 5 and 9. Is this possible? 9 and 9. Okay, there is a complication here. So okay, how many values are possible? 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, so the answer is B. Okay, although a bit lengthy, it is not that lengthy, but if you do it in, okay, this should be a round 2 question. Okay, and I keep on reminding my students, okay, or people who have attended my classes, always do things methodically. Once you do this, okay, there will be no problem. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, now again let's go for the next one. 59. Same, just like, okay, just like that previous question. Okay, the easiest way to solve is by finding out the complete work. X can complete, okay, 1/3 of a certain work in 6 days. Okay, so X can complete 1/3 of a work in 6 days. 1/3 of a work in 6 days. So total work will be done in 18 days. Okay. Y can complete 1/3 of a work in 8 days. 1/3 of a work in 8 days. So how many days it will take? 24 days. Next, Z can complete 3/4 of the work. Okay, 3/4 of the work in 12 days. Z can complete 3/4 of the work in 12 days. So how many days will will Z take to complete? It will be 16 days. Simply 12 into 4 by 3. Okay, 3 4s are 12, 4 4s are 16. Okay, now all of them work together for n days, then X and Y quit. Okay, so X, Y and Z work for certain amount of days. Okay, they worked for n days completely. Okay, they worked for n days, Y worked for n days, Z worked for n days. Okay, plus an extra 8 2 by 3 days. Okay, an extra 8 2 by 3 days. What is n equals to? For how many days did did they work together? Did they work? You see, what is n equals to? Simply take an LCM of this. Okay, 18 24 3s are 72. Okay. So if we take the total work as 24 into 3, which is 72. Okay, what is the efficiency of X? Efficiency of X will be 8. Efficiency of efficiency of Y will be 18 fours. Okay, and Z complete 16 okay, 8 2s are 16. So a 2 is left in the background. So $18 78. Okay, 78. So 78. Okay, 78 units of work is done by Z alone. 78 units of work is done by Z alone. What is the total work? 144. 144 minus 78 by all three have done how much work? If they all work together, what is the total work they can do? Okay, this is 4 2s are 8 plus 3 2s are 6 plus 9. It is 23. Okay, so the answer is 144 minus 78 is, here we will get okay, so the total work is 74 and they 3 would have completed 23. Okay. What is n equals to 4, 3. Okay, we are dividing by 3. What will we get? 8 plus 6. So 3. 1 second. Complain. 26 by 3. Yeah, that is true. So the efficiencies are 8, 6 and 9. Acha, sorry. This is what I was, okay. Okay. So, sorry, I read the question wrong. X and Z quit. Okay. This is not, okay. X and Z quit. For example, Y worked for the longest. Okay. X and Z quit in n days. Okay. X and Z quit in n days. So who worked? Who worked for 26 by 3? 26 by 3 is worked by Z. So 26 by 3 days into 6 units per day. 3 2s are 6. So this is 52. Okay. So the answer now will become 144 units. Okay, is the total work in which Y has done 52 units of work. 52 units of work, and all the remaining will do 23. Okay. 8 plus 6 plus 9, which is 23. So 4 minus 2, okay, your unit digit is 2, so 3 into 4, so it has to be a multiple of, okay, 4. So the number of days is 4. Okay. It is nothing but 92. Okay, 92 by 23. Okay, so this is also an easy question. Once, okay, you should have done it in round 1 itself. Okay, round 1. So I hope this is clear. Okay, next. So what is X in the sequence? 1. Difference between 1 and 2. 1 and 3 is 2. 3 and 6 is 3. 6 and okay, you see 2, 3 and 5. What are 2, 3 and 5? They are prime numbers. Okay, so the difference is prime number. 11 and 8 is 7. Okay, what is the next one? Next prime after 7 is 11. So 18 plus 11 is 29. Okay, so the answer for this is 29. Okay, so next one. Okay, there has been no democracy. Okay, there has been no democracy that has grown economically. Without corporate capitalism. Okay, that has grown economically without corporate capitalism. It helps in modernizing the economy and enabling the transition from rural to urban and agricultural to industry and services, which are inevitable with growth. It generates jobs, and there is no other way to fix a country's unemployment challenge without a further impetus to private businesses. Okay, so it is so the whole idea of the passage is you cannot have a democracy without that has grown economically. Okay, no democracy can grow economically without corporate capitalism. Okay, that is the main idea, and these are all details regarding that. Okay, so big companies can operate on a large scale and become competitive both domestically and externally. A vibrant corporate capitalist base also leads to additional revenues for state, which in turn can be used for greater welfare of marginalized and creating a level playing field in terms of opportunities. Okay, in terms of opportunities. So the main idea of the passage is a democracy cannot grow economically without a good without corporate capitalism. Okay, and not only it helps the people, not only it helps in unemployment, it also helps the state by providing it resources so that it could be much more spent. Okay, it could be much well spent on marginalized people. Okay, so let us see what does the option suggest. Which one of the following statement best reflects the critical message conveyed by the passage? Corporate capitalism is important for economic growth of a state and also for democracy. Okay, yes, this is what the passage is talking about. Okay, corporate capitalism is imperative for modern state to achieve its political objectives. No. All the passage is talking about, majorly regarding economy, and in the last line they are talking about even capitalism indirectly affects to state to reach one of its objective, which is marginalized section, helping the marginalized section. But is it the only political objectives of the state? No, political objectives could be, okay, there might be many political objectives for a state, okay, to provide a stability, okay, to provide good defense. All these are political objectives. So, okay, this is not. No state can ensure its economic survival. No state, we were talking about democracy. No democracy, okay, can economically grow without capitalism. A state can be, it can be democracy, oligarchy, okay, it could be communist, anything of that sort. Okay, a state can be of any political form. Okay, so corporate capitalism and democracy have mutual dependence for their continued existence. So corporate capitalism and democracy have mutual dependence. That means, okay, one is directly dependent on other. Okay, corporate capitalism and democracy. Is this what are we talking about? Okay, all the passage is talking about democracy's economic growth. Democracy's economic growth. Nowhere it talks about democracy cannot survive without corporate capitalism. No, the passage talks about corporate, okay, a democracy's economic growth is not possible without corporate capitalism, and a democracy can sustain without economic growth too. Okay, it is not guaranteed that every democracy should grow economically. Okay, so this is never discussed in the, okay, passage. So the answer is, okay, a clear cut A. Next one. With reference to the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. Okay, corporate capitalism promotes the growth of labor force and provides more employment opportunities. Yes, it is passage. Trickle down effect. Okay, so this is definitely there in the passage. Poor and marginalized section of the population are benefited by corporate capitalism. Yes, okay, the last sentence in the passage talks about this due to trickle down effect. Okay, you give it to something else, but it trickles down slowly and will, okay, by giving more revenues to the state. Okay, so the state will have more expenditure to spend on marginalized section. So it is a trickle down effect. So the answer is definitely both 1 and 2. Okay. Next, a network of voluntary associations stands as a buffer between and the potentially powerful state. All such passages, okay, which are one sentence passage, I always implore the students, okay, to identify subject, verb and object. Okay, what is the passage talking about? The passage or this line talks about a network of voluntary associations. What they do? They act as a buffer between, okay, a strong state, okay, and a powerless individual. Okay, so any option which reflects the subject, which is voluntary, okay, voluntary associations. What are the objects? The state and the powerless individual. Okay, that option which reflects the subject, verb and object is same. Okay, so which one of the following statement reflects the best explanation of the above passage? It emphasizes the inability of the state. Yes, we are talking about the state to enforce its will in practice against the opposition of certain groups within it. Okay, so we are talking about it, that means we are referring to what? Okay, we are referring to voluntary associations. So your subject is there, you state that is certain groups are individuals, okay, to enforce its will. Okay, the passage, you see the tone of the passage here, the state is projected as an all powerful individual which is trying to okay, enforce its will, or which is trying to okay, dominate okay, a relatively powerless individual. Okay, see which option has the same tone. Okay, the tone should be that state is okay, state is powerful and it is doing okay, it is trying to destroy, or it is trying to overwhelm a powerless individual. Okay, you see, it emphasizes the inability of the state. What? Okay, so we are referring to voluntary association of the state to enforce its will. Yes, if the voluntary associations are not there, state would have definitely enforced its will upon the individual. Okay, in practice, okay, in practice against the opposition of certain groups within it. Yes, what are groups? Groups are nothing but voluntary associations. Okay, voluntary associations. So this is definitely true. It is a cooperative organization, okay, for promotion of well-being, of development of personality of its members. Where is the elephant in the room? State. Okay. It is all about state unable to okay, voluntary associations trying, okay, standing as a bulwark against the implementation of the state. Okay, next, it takes people out of a state in isolation and gives them a chance to participate in common endeavor. Where is the will enforcement of the state? Okay, it permits citizens to have a variety of loyalties and allegiances. No, all okay, it needs to reflect the subject, verb and object. The subject is voluntary associations, the objects are states and okay, states and relatively powerless individual. Okay, so definitely the answer is A. There can be no doubts about it, but I have seen some institutes trying to do this. This is definitely wrong. Okay, the answer is A. Sorry, not this. Some have okay, tried to okay, some have said C as also answer. Okay, but the answer is definitely A. Next, okay, this is also a simple round 1 question. Okay, there exists a natural number which when increased by 50 can have its number of factors unchanged. Okay, simply okay, take two natural numbers, okay, 2 and 3. Okay, how many factors does it have? 1 and 2. Okay, now when it is increased by 50, okay, when it is increased by 50, what is the value? 2 plus 1. Okay, 3. How many factors it has? 1, 3. Okay, there exists. So even an existence of one number, okay, will prove this. So this is definitely true. Next, there exists a natural number. Same, take the 2 1. It is 1 and 2, which is increased by 150%. 150% is okay. 100% is 2. 50% is 1. So 2 plus 3, 5. What are its factors? 1 and okay. Both are okay, or you could take any number because 50% is asked. Okay, 1 by 2, any multiple of 2. You could take even 14 2. Okay, so there exist many numbers. Okay, the simplest is 2 plus 5. Why? Because primes. It is because primes will have, we know that primes will have only 2 factors, and okay, primes will have only 2 factors, and okay, and those should remain unchanged. So if I prove that any of 2 primes, okay, are within 50% and 150% of each other, then it is true. So 2 is a perfect example for this. Okay, you can even do this by taking okay, natural number as 14 or anything by 2. Okay, you will find many options here. So okay, for sake of simplicity, this is the best answer, but you could take any number which gets divided by 2. Okay, you will definitely find this. Next, so this is also round 1. Okay, just you need to, there are 7 places A, B, C, D, E, F and G in a, okay, city connected by various roads A, B, AC, CD, DE, BF and FG. Okay, A is 6 kilometers south of B. Suppose this is B. Okay, A is 6 kilometers south of B. So here it is A. And A is 10 kilometers west of C. So this is C. So 10 kilometers. A is 6. Okay, 10 and this is 6. D is 5 kilometers east of, okay, west of C. Now let us see. C is 6 kilometers north of D. C is 6 kilometers. C is 6 kilometers north of D. C is 6 kilometers north of D. D is 5 kilometers east of E. D is 5 kilometers east of E. Okay. D is 5 kilometers. So we have done this, done this, done this. F is 9 kilometers west of B. F is 9 kilometers west of B. Okay, 9 kilometers west of B. And F is 12 kilometers north of G. And F is 12 kilometers north of G. That means G must be somewhere here. Okay. So once you frame this, okay, a person travels from D to F. A person travels from D to F. So you just need to see whether there exists a shortcut or not. Okay. Now see the roads F and G. Okay. F and G. Is there a road between G and D? Okay. So once you make this, what is F and G? F is 12 kilometers north of G. G and D. Where is G? E. D is 5 kilometers east of E. Okay, 5 kilometers east of E. So what is the distance covered by the person? Okay, so the way is if G and E okay, so 5 kilometers, what is the total here? 9 plus 10. Okay, this is 19. 19 if this is 5, this is 14. Okay, you see 12 plus 14, 26 plus 5, this is 31. Even you travel this way, 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 10 is 25. 25 plus 6 is 31. Okay, so you will get the same answer. What is the distance covered by the person to travel from D to F? Okay, to travel from D to F, either he could go this way or he could go this way. Okay, in both options the answer is 31 kilometers. Okay, so the answer is definitely 31 kilometers. You just need to, okay, draw the diagram. Okay, and it is 31 kilometers. Next, again you see my observation that there are at least 10 to 50 questions just on those basics itself, okay, is again coming true. You see, if a code for 64 is written as 343, what is 64? 64 is okay 4 cube, and what is 34? 7 cube. Okay, now what is 216? 6 cube. What is 729? 9 cube. You see the relation? So cubes are important. The basics such as cubes are important. So how is 512 written in the cube? What is 512? 512 is 8 cube. So it has to be 11 cube. Okay, 1331. Okay, so this should also have been the first in the first round. Okay, round 1 question. Next, what is the remainder when 9 cube plus 9 to the power of 4, 9 to the power of 5? Okay, is divided by 6. Okay, so we need to find the remainder. What is 6? 3 into 2, right? Okay, so to see whether this gets divided by 6 or not, we just need to see whether there are factors of 3 and 2 in this. So clearly see the factor of 3 because 9 is common. If I take 9 cube as common, what will this be? This will become 1 plus 9 to the power of 1 plus 9 to the power of 2 plus 9 to the power of 3 plus so on and so forth until okay, so on and so forth until 9 to the power of 97. Okay, you see. Okay, so 3, okay, 9 cube is 3 square cube, so 3 is gone. Now we need to see whether okay when there is a factor for 2 or not. You see, what is 9 plus 1? 10. Can I take 9 square power here? Okay, it will be 1 plus 9 again. Next, same way, next one will be 9 power 4 plus 9 power 5. If I take 9 power 4 common, it will be 1 plus 9 again. So I will get again 10. So each pair of factor is giving me a 10. Okay, each pair of factor is giving me a 10. A 10 contains a 2 and 5. Okay, so definitely the remainder is 0. Okay, so the remainder is 0. Apart from this, there is also another way. Okay, you see, any (9 to the power of 1 by 6). What is the remainder? 3. 9 square is 81. 81 by 6. Okay. Okay, the remainder is still 3. 9 to the power of 3 by 6. Okay, you check. Okay, it is 81. Okay, we get 78. 16, 13, 6 are 78. So the remainder is 3. So any power of 9 to the power of n when divided by 6 is 3. Okay, so all the remainders for this will be, okay, we are discussing another method. This will be 3, this will be 3, this will be 3, this will be 3. And how many such 3s are there? Okay, there are 100 numbers. Okay, minus 3, which is 97 plus 1. The number of numbers between, okay, two limits is, okay, higher limit minus lower limit plus 1. Okay, 100 minus 3 is 97, 97 plus 1 is 98. That means there is a 2 involved here. Okay, so definitely it will be divided by 6. Even in this case, the remainder is 0. Okay, next, a question is given followed by two statements 1 and 2. Okay, consider the statements and mark the correct option. What is the smallest, okay, what is the smallest one digit number having exactly 4 distinct factors. Okay, you see all primes will have 2 factors. Okay, so what is the smallest number which is not a prime? 4 and 6. The factors of 4 are 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 6. So this is the smallest number. Okay, statement 1, 2 is one of the factors. Okay, 3 is one of the factors. Okay, so let us see the options now. The question can be answered. The question can be answered using one of the statements alone, but cannot be answered using the other statement. No. Okay, the question can be answered by using either statement alone. Okay, possibly the question can be answered by using both the statements together, but cannot be answered by using either statement alone. Not so. The question can be answered even without using any of the statements. Yes, right? While solving the problem, did we take any help of those one of the statements? No. Okay, we just okay. Even by general knowledge, you can see that 6 has the factors of 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, sorry, 1, 2, 3 and 6. So 6 is the smallest number. Okay, 6 is the smallest number. Even without using the statements, you can find out the answer. Okay, you can find out the smallest number which has having 4 factors. So the answer is definitely D. Okay. A question is given followed by 2 statements. Consider the statements and mark the correct option. Okay. P, Q, R, S are distinct non-zero digits. Okay. PP, PQ is equals to RR and SS. Okay. P is greater than or equals to 3. That means P could be 1, 2 and 3. Okay. And Q is lesser than 4, that means it could be 1, 2, 3 lesser than or equals to 4. Okay. Now you see you are multiplying 2 digits. Okay. Now let me introduce a concept here. Okay. Whenever you multiply x digits or whenever you multiply m into n digits, okay, the product will always have just 2 other options. What are those? M plus 1 minus 1 or m plus n. Okay, the product will have either m plus n minus 1 digits or n plus 1 digits based upon, okay, based upon the rightmost digits in m and n. Okay, the rightmost digits in m and n. For example, okay, take 11 into 11, it is 121. 2 digits, right? So the multiplication of this will either be 2 plus 2 minus 1, okay, the product will be either 2 plus 2 minus 1 or 2 plus 2 digits will be of 2 plus 2 digit only. For example, take 99 into 99, this is just a 4 digit problem, okay, 4 digit, it will never go into 5 digits, okay. Now, and this depends upon your product of the rightmost digit, okay. So for your product, okay, for the product to be of width m plus n, your rightmost digit should be capable of producing a carry. You see, PP should be able to produce a carry. Will 1 produce a carry? 1 into 1. Will 2 produce a carry? 2 into 2. Will 3 produce a carry? Possibly yes, possibly not. 3 3s are 9. So there is a chance of carry only with 3. Okay. So definitely it is 33 into P. This is also 31. Where it needs to be of the form RR and SS. Multiply 33 into 31. So 33 plus 99, 3, 12, okay, we are getting different digits. So this is not possible. Now multiply 33 into 32. Okay, so this is 66 plus 99, 6, 15, again not possible. Okay, since this can't be PP into PP, so possibility is 33 into 34. Okay, 4 3s are, so it is 132 plus 99, 9. Okay, 2 as it is, 9 plus 3 12, and it is 11. Okay, 1 1 2 2. So is this of the form RR and SS? Yes. Okay, so only the value is PP into PQ is 33 into 34. Okay, now okay, just like the previous question, statement 1 is 1, R is equals to 1. Okay, you see, have I solved this question without using the statements? Have I solved the question without using the statements, right? Okay, so the answer is going to be, the question can be answered, okay, even without, the question can be answered even without using any of the statements. Okay, can be answered using without any of the statements. Okay, next, this is also a simple one, a question. Okay, a question is followed by two statements 1 and 2. Consider the following statements and mark the correct answer. Okay, how is Q related to P? Okay, how is Q related to P? P has two sisters, R and S. So we don't know the gender of P. Okay, he has two sisters, R and then S. Okay, R's father is the brother of Q. So R's father, okay, R's father, that means we know the gender of R's father is the brother of Q. Do we know the gender of Q? No. Okay, how is Q related to P? For Q to be related to P, we should know the gender of Q, right? We should know the gender of Q, but do we know the gender of Q here? Okay, no. So the option could be, the answer can be, the question can be answered, no, the question cannot be answered, question can be answered, no, question can be answered, no. Okay, so the answer is, the question cannot be answered. Why it cannot be answered? Because we are running into a problem determining the gender of Q with the gender of Q. So if we don't know Q's gender, we cannot tell, okay, how is Q related to P? Okay, so this here, you see, easy. This is also a round 1 question, you should have done this. Okay, so the answer is D. Okay, so the answer is D. Next, a single number for inflation. Okay, a single number for inflation is an aggregate across. Okay, a single number for inflation is an aggregate across different commodities and services. Different commodities and services. The price rise differs for, okay, just okay, the price rise differs for different items of. So the single number arrived at assigning weights to different commodities and services. Okay, so okay, price of different things vary. Okay, so for WPI the weights in production are used. For CPI the consumption basket is used, but people are not homogeneous. The consumption basket is vastly different for the poor, the middle classes and the rich. Okay, why? Because all our inflation indicators are average of. Okay, average of different categories of products. Okay, that's why hence CPI is different for each of these classes, and a composite index requires averaging the basket. So whatever we get one single number, okay, it is an average of the baskets. Okay. Now which one of the following statement reflects the most crucial message? We must use WPI exclusively in measuring prices. Nah. Where is the preference for okay, where is the passage suggesting that one is better than the other? No, he is just telling that okay, there are different categories of people use different type of this thing, and whatever the composite score is always an average. Okay. The present calculation of inflation rate does not correctly measure the price rise of individual item or commodity. Okay. Yes, this is what it is telling, right? What we get is an composite score. What we get is an composite score. That means because composite score is an average, we cannot find out by using this composite score, okay, the price of an individual commodity. The present calculation of inflation rate does not correctly measure price rise of individual item or commodity. Because it is an average, we cannot measure individual commodity. Okay, this is what is being spoken in the passage, right? Okay, next, inflation data underrepresents. Where have we talked about services, okay, and all? So this is wrong. Knowledge of inflation rate is not really useful to, yeah. Are we talking about the, okay, importance or usage of an inflation rate? No, we are not. The discussion in the passage is never regarding this. Okay, so clearly the answer is B. Okay, next main idea. Trust stands commonly defined as being vulnerable to others. Trust stands commonly defined as being vulnerable to others. Entrepreneurship implies trust in others and willing to expose oneself to betrayal. Okay, trust in expert systems is the essence of globalizing behavior. Trust itself emerges as a super commodity in social market and defines the characteristics of goods and services in a global market. Okay, trusting conduct also means that holding others in good esteem and an optimism that they are competent in certain respects. Okay. So what is the whole passage talking about? The whole passage is talking about trust. Okay, importance of trust in an economy. Which of the following statement best reflects? Okay, trustworthiness cannot be expected in an entrepreneurship. No, it is talking about trust. Okay, trust is the, okay, entrepreneurship has to have trust. Okay, you see the trust stands. Entrepreneurship implies trust in others. So okay, this is going 180 degrees or complete opposite to what, okay, what the passage suggests. Trustworthy people are most vulnerable people. No. The passage is telling that being trusting is being vulnerable to other ideas. But where has it said that trustworthy people are the most vulnerable people? No, you're wrong. No economic activity is possible without being exposed to betrayal. We were talking about trust. Okay, then is it said without trust there cannot be no economic activity? No, trust is important for economic activity, but it never says without trust there can be no economic activity. Okay, and that too we are not talking about trust without being exposed to betrayal. Okay, if you get betrayed only, if you are exposed to betrayal only, you will be able to do an economic activity. This is what the option is suggesting. This is wrong. Trust is important, though it entails risks. Yes, this is what the passage is talking about. Okay, since the whole of the economy depends upon trust, and trust is being vulnerable. Okay, although it entails risk, but trust is important. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay. Next, okay, our question is followed by two statements 1 and 2. Consider the question and the statements. Okay, In a football match between P and Q, okay, in a football match, team playing P is playing against Q, okay. Team P playing against Q was behind by 3 goals with 10 minutes remaining, okay. So normally a football match is for 90 minutes. So at 80th minute, okay, at 80th minute, team P, okay, team P was behind Q by 3 goals. Behind by 3 goals, they didn't say, okay, they didn't give you the exact this thing, okay, behind 3 goals, matlab P could be 0, 3 or it could be 1 and 4, okay. The difference is this, or it could be 2 and 5 2, okay. Does team P win the match? Okay, we need to tell whether team P win the match. Team P scores 4 goals in the last minute. Suppose if they would have scored, okay, this is scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3. If they would have scored 4 goals, okay, what was the score? It would have been 4-3. So in scenario 1, team okay, team P wins the match. Okay, now statement 2, okay, scenario 2, it will be 5-4, okay. So even in this, they will win the match. Okay, next statement 2, okay. Statement 2 is team Q scored a total of 4 goals in the match. Okay. So 80th minute, okay, team P was behind 3 goals with 10 minutes remaining. Okay, does team P win the match? Okay, statement 1. So in the 90th minute, statement 1 tells that team P scored 4 goals in the last 10 minutes. In scenario 1, it will be 4-3. Okay, so team P wins the match. Next, in scenario 2, okay, they goals if they scored, okay, 4 goals, it will be 5-4. In both the scenarios, team P will win the match. Statement 2. Okay, statement 2 is team Q scored a total of 4 goals in a match. Okay, team Q scored a total of 4 goals in a match. Okay, so if they score 4 goals, in this scenario P wins. This also P wins. Okay, which one of the following is correct with respect to the question and the statements? The question can be answered by using one of the statements. Okay, one of the statements alone. Okay, so using statement 2, okay, using statement 2, statement 2 is team Q scored a total of, okay, total of 4 goals in the match. So if they score 4 goals, okay, there is a possibility even in this, in the first scenario 4-3, that P wins. So okay, any one of the statements is wrong. Question can be answered by using either statement alone. No, either statement alone means you need to do with statement 1 and statement 2. Since with statement 2 it is not possible, okay, it is the wrong answer. The question can be answered by using by using both the statements together. No, by using both the statements together. No. Okay. The statement cannot be answered. No, but using statement 1, you could answer this thing, right? Okay. So yes, you can always tell that team P, okay, will win the match, okay, with question and statement 1, okay, with the question and statement 1. So none of the options seem to be correct, but the question can be answered. Can be answered even using. The question cannot be answered even using any of the statements, but it can be answered using statement 1, right? Or okay, let us see this. The question can be answered by using one of the statements alone. Yes, you could use statement 1. Okay. The question can be answered by using one of the statements alone, but cannot be answered using the other statement alone. Okay. The answer is option A. Okay. By 80th minute, P and Q, whatever the scenario you take, they are just lagging by 3 goals. Okay. So if they score 4 goals, okay, if team P scored 4 goals in the last 10 minutes, okay. Now this does not say anything about Q goals. Okay, this is what they could have made this question much more, okay, objective. We are only talking about team P. Okay, you could have, okay, they could have given a statement that Q does not score any goals. Q does not score any goals. So we are talking about team P. In these 10 minutes, Q can also score some more goals, right? So the result depends upon this. Okay, so I have a little doubt regarding this question. Okay, so it is either, okay, it is either A, okay, or D. Okay, the answer is D because we don't know how many has Q scored. Okay, while considering statement 1. While considering statement 1. Okay. Acha. Okay, statement. If you use just the statement 1 alone, okay, 2 scenarios are 0-3 becoming 4-3. Next scenario is 1-4 making out to 5-4 next. Okay, so if P scored 4 goals in the last 10 minutes, okay, P scored 4 goals in the last 10 minutes, there is a possibility that Q also can score. Q also can score. So it is not guaranteed that P will win. But when you come to statement 2, team Q scored a total of okay, 4 goals in the match. So what will happen? 3, okay. So if they score 4 goals, considering statement 1 and statement 2, if they score 4 goals and P has scored 4 goals, now what will this be? This will result in a draw, okay. So definitely the answer is going to be now, okay, now this makes it clear, okay. The option is D, okay. The question cannot be answered by using any of the statements, okay. So we need P to win, okay. We need P to win. Okay. So in one scenario, it is going to show us 03 till 80 minute, and 90 minute it is going to be either, okay, if you consider statement 1, one possibility will be 4-3. If you consider statement 2, if they score total of 4 goals, okay, and P has scored 4 goals, if you consider both statements alone, you will get a P win here, a P draw here, okay. So we cannot determine whether P wins or not, okay. So definitely the, okay. Now with this 74, a question is given following statements 1 and 2, okay. So P plus, now, okay, there is a bit of algebra here, P plus Q minus of 4PQ. If you just expand this, okay, P square plus Q square plus 2PQ minus of 4PQ, what is this going to be? P square plus Q square minus of 2PQ. So this is nothing but P minus Q whole square, okay. Now any value you take, either okay, P is greater than Q or P is lesser than Q. If P is greater than Q, you will get a positive value. Next, if P is lesser than Q, you will still get a positive value, because negative into negative is positive. But if P is equals to Q, you will get what? 0, okay. So PQ are natural numbers, okay. Is P plus Q square minus 4PQ, where PQ are natural numbers positive. Statement 1, P is lesser than Q, P is greater than Q, okay. Okay, so if either of the statements, okay, in either of the statement we will get a positive value, okay. So it is B. The question can be answered by using either of the statement alone, okay. By using, if P is greater than Q or P is lesser than Q, you can definitely say that P minus Q square is positive, okay. Next, okay, in a T20 cricket match, 3 players, in a T20 cricket match, 3 players XYZ scored a total of 37 runs, okay. The ratio of the number of runs scored by X to the number of runs scored by Y is equals to number of runs scored by Y to the ratio of number of runs scored by Z, okay. So this represents a geometric progression, okay. What is a geometric progression? A, okay, an arithmetic progression is when the difference is common, A plus D, A plus 2D. You see the difference is D, A plus 2D, D, okay. A geometric progression is when there is a common ratio, AR square. You see, AR by A, okay, the common ratio is R, AR square by R, the common ratio is R, okay. So this is what they are asking us, you see, okay. Put the same into this, okay, X, Y, Z, okay, X by Y, R, okay, and Y by Z, this is also R. So X, Y, Z are in GP, okay, are in GP, okay, X, Y, Z are in GP. Now value 1, this is value 1, value 3, okay. Now the important property of a GP is your R could be greater than 1 or R could be lesser than 1. For example, let me give you an example, okay. Until and unless you know what is R, okay, you cannot just find the value by finding out R, okay. You also need what is the first element. For example, if I say 1, 5, 25, what is the R? This is also in GP. The R is 5. If I say 25, 5, 1, this is also in GP. What is the R? 1 by 5. Okay, 1 by 5. Okay, so just knowing R is not sufficient. Okay, even with the same, okay, you can, even with the same values, you can form two geometric progressions. So we cannot find out particularly, or we cannot find out definitely what is the value of first, what is the first value, second value and third value, even though this is also AGP, this is also AGP. Okay, the question just clearly states that, okay, XYZ, the scores are in AGP, but we don't know what is the R. Okay, what is the R? Same values, we can have two geometric expressions with different A, different R, different A, different R. Okay, so values being the same does not give us confidence regarding the suitability of values. Okay, so value 1, we can never tell that, okay, cannot be determined due to insufficient data. We can tell that, we cannot tell that one is greater than another. If you take this one, okay, in this case all three are in geometric progression. Okay, 1, 5 and 25. Next, this is also possible, right? Value 3, value 1, value 1, value 2. Okay, so the answer is D. It cannot be determined due to insufficient data. Why? Okay, for a geometric progression you need both A and R. Okay, even though values are, okay, even though elements are same, for you to fix values you definitely need to know the value of A and the value of R. Okay, so okay, the answer for this is D. Okay, so any value could do this. For 37, 37 is 3, could use 12 here, 9 here, 4 3s are 12, 16 here. You see this value, 9 plus 12 is 21, 21 plus, okay, 37. Okay, we got the exact value. So see, okay, total number of runs 9, 12, 16 is 37, 16, 12, 9 is also 37. Okay, now how can you tell that value 1 is greater than value 3, or value 1 is lesser than value, okay, value 1 is lesser than value 3, okay, since we don't know R. Okay, that is why cannot be determined due to insufficient data. Okay, the judgment can't be made regarding value 1, okay, regarding the values. So I hope this is clear. Next one. Okay, P and Q is equals to 10, where P are integers. Maximum value of P in Q, value 1 is equals to maximum value of P into Q when P, Q are positive integers. You know, when does okay, when does the maximum product occur? Okay, when they are equally distributed. Okay, so 10 is 5 plus 5, so the maximum value is 5 into 5, which is 25. Okay, maximum value of P into Q, which is 25. Next, value 2, maximum value of P into Q when P is greater than or equal to minus 6. That means we can go from minus 6 to okay, P plus Q has to be 10. Okay, we can go from minus 6 to 10. Okay, in the same way, Q greater than minus 4 to 10. You see, so what are the possibilities for PQ? P could be negative, Q could be negative, P could be positive, Q could be negative, this could be positive, or they could be both positive. Okay, these are the only possibilities. You see, negative and negative. Okay, yeah, Where has this gone? Yeah. Okay. So the possibilities are P, Q, okay, negative, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive, positive, and positive. You see, the maximum value occurs, okay, when they are equally distributed. When, okay, if P and Q has a chance of -5 into -5, okay, is there a chance for that to happen? So -6, -5, -4, okay, but Q starts from -4 only, -4, -3, okay. So we cannot possibly have -5 into -5, okay. So if the distribution is not equal, whatever the product you get will always have the less value, okay. We have seen this even in cubes, okay. So negative value is not possible. Positive and negative will always be lesser than positive and positive, okay. So even the highest value here, okay, -6 to 10 of P, Q is also -4 to 10. The highest value will occur at equality of 5 into 5, okay. So value 1 is equals to value 2, which is, okay, 25, which is 25. Okay, simple question. This could also be solved in round 1, okay. But given that, you should know the principle behind always, okay. If your sum is fixed, okay, the maximum product occurs at, if the sum is n by 2 into n by 2, okay, or when the distribution is equal, or when the difference is as low as possible, okay. Next, consider a set of 11 numbers, okay. Consider a set of 11 numbers. Value 1 is minimum value of the average of the numbers when the set, okay, minimum value of the average, okay. I need to see 11 numbers. For average to be minimum, okay, if I take only positive 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll always get a positive average. For an average to be minimum, okay, what if I include negative values, okay, the average will always be less, because sum will be less, okay. So for 11 numbers, so I can start from -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. So these are how many numbers? These are 11 numbers. So what is the average of 11 numbers? It will be always be, this is an AP, right? You see, there is a change of 1, okay. So the average is always the middle one, so the average is 0, okay. So value 1 is 0. Next, value 2, minimum value of the product of numbers of the set when they are consecutive non-negative integers, okay. These are the set when they are consecutive non-negative integers. You see 0, okay, for minimum value of the product. So for value to be minimum, I'll include a 0, okay. So 0 into 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So the value is 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0, okay. So both are same, okay, when they are consecutive non-negative integers, okay, non-negative integers. So it is 0 even in this case, okay. Easy, right? So you could have, okay, just with the logic that, okay, you need to include negative, okay. This is also probably a round 1 or round 2 question, because many people feel they feel uncomfortable doing statement based questions, okay. So this could be it. The average of 3 numbers P, Q and R is K. That means P plus Q plus R is equals to by 3 is equals to K. P is much more than the average, Q is much less than the average, okay. So what is he doing? PQR, okay. P is as greater than the average as R is less than the average. That means they are in an AP. So in an AP, what is always the average? The average is middle product, okay. So Q is equals to K. Either you could do this, okay. This is the simplest way knowing that, okay. Okay, knowing the properties of AP, okay. You remember to our yesterday session, I have always told you the basics, okay. or even in the revision class, okay, what I reminded students is always focus on basics and arithmetic progression, the properties of arithmetic progression. Okay, so this is K, or you could use this as, okay, so the answer is K, or you could even calculate this is, okay, P is much more than average as Q is much more than this. So Q plus X, suppose it is X unit more than P is X unit more than average, okay, plus Q plus of Q minus 3 is equals to K minus, sorry, plus X, right, minus X plus X, 3Q by 3 is equals to K, 3 by 3 gone, so Q is equals to K, okay. Next, last but one, okay, let X be a real number, let X be a real number between 0 and 1, which can be expressed on number. Example, okay, let's take 1 by 2. Which of the following statements is true or correct? Between 0 and 1, okay, we have always seen the properties. 1, if the value is less than 1, always 1 by 2 square is greater than 1 by 2 cube, right? This is 1 by 4, which is greater than 1 by 8, right? Definitely you take for any 1 by 3, 1 by 3 is 1 by 9, which is greater than 1 by 81, okay, so this is true. And next one is X is greater than root X, okay, so take the same value 1 by 2, okay, X value is 1 by 2, root X will be 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 is 1.732, 1 by 2 is 0.5, okay, or you see real number between this, so X will be if you take X as 1 by 2, okay, X will be greater than root X, so X is 1 by 2, it is greater than 1 by root 2. Real number between which of the following statements is or are true, okay. So can you say the statement 2, okay, you take 1 by 2, okay, so you see numerator is same, here denominator is 2, here denominator is 1.732, so which value is more? As denominator is less, okay, denominator is less, value will be more here, so this is definitely wrong, okay, so X is wrong, it is 1 only. Select the correct answer using the code below, it is 1 only, okay. This is also a round 1 question, okay, just take any value, or if you are reminded of the properties, okay. Next, okay, the last one, the difference between any two natural numbers is 10. What can be said about natural numbers which are divisible by 5 and lie in between these two numbers? Okay, there are only two. The difference between any two natural numbers is 10. Okay, so 13, 23. What can be said about the natural numbers which are divisible by 5 that lie between these two numbers? Okay, so 15 5s 20. What can be said about the natural numbers which are divisible by 5 lying in between? There is only one such number? No, there are 15 and 20, right? Next, there are only two such numbers. If we take 11 and 21, you will have 15 and 20. Now let us try to disprove this. Okay, so no such number exists. This is wrong, this is wrong. Okay, and next, there are only two such numbers. Okay, is the case that all such numbers are possible? Okay, he just asked for the difference between numbers is 10. Okay, so this is definitely wrong. There are only two such numbers. Now let us see. Let us take a multiple of 10. Okay, because he has not specified. Okay, he has only specified that difference between two natural numbers should be 10. If I take 15 and 25, okay, sorry, 25 minus 15. Okay, what is the number that is between two that is divisible by 5? Only 20. So there is only one number, right? So this is wrong. There are only two such numbers. No, there can be one number too. Okay, there can be more than one such number. Yes. Okay, there can be one number. There can be more than one such number. Okay, so the answer is okay, C. So okay, I have tried to remain as authentic as possible and give you, okay, even if there are conflicting answers between okay, by various, they have really gone through, okay, and verified it various number of times, and if you have followed this, you would have understood that okay, whatever the answers that I have subscribed to or think they are wrong, okay, think they are right, okay, have evidence, okay, non negotiable evidence in the passage. Okay, so okay. Okay, so with this, so already prelims is done. Now what you can do is you can learn from this. Okay, so what are the trends that we have seen? One, basics are important. Okay, number two, okay, there are enough round 1 questions that can be solved. Okay, which round 1 questions, there are enough round 1 questions, okay, to clear CSAT. Okay, to clear CSAT. Okay, and I assure you the key along which when to attempt which question, okay, will be given either in the comments or you can contact the admin team. Okay, next, one more trend is, okay, rather than the answer, okay, there are many questions, okay, which you have to formulate the answer on the spot. Okay, there is no preset type of process to solve the question. Okay, so, and next, you have seen many of the questions depend upon properties. Okay, many of the questions depend upon properties. For example, that a plus b is equals to 10. Okay, for the maximum product. Okay, there is no set pattern for that except starting from basics, starting from the properties of this. Okay, so so for congratulations for who have cleared CSAT, but if you have not solved CSAT, okay, it is not cleared CSAT, it is not the end of the day. Okay, so try to implement this. Okay, try to implement this for your next year's preparation, and this is where, okay, a good course, okay, where instead of rather than relying on formulas, where you rely on principles, okay, that are there to be explored, okay, can give you a shot in the arm for your preparation. Okay, because it is not always easy for us to find those properties. Okay, so just like you can ask any of our previous students, we always focus on properties. Okay, so any good course, okay, which focus on properties will be a welcome boost to students. Okay, now if you have any doubts on this, or if you have any discrepancies regarding any of the answers that we have discussed, okay, you can please contact the admin team, or you could drop down in the comments. We will definitely answer you. So with this, we'll close we'll finish the analysis of 2025 CSAT. Okay, if you ask me what is my takeaway from this, it is, okay, there are enough amount of, okay, round 1 questions, but round 1 questions to be solved, but judgment has started becoming much more important. You need to judiciously stick to the time limit and stick to first solve all those questions which are important, okay, which can be solved this, okay. So if you solve this instead of getting stuck in difficult questions, I definitely agree there are some difficult questions, or those questions which you feel, okay, attempting in the scenario of an exam is difficult, okay, there are definitely such questions, but you, okay, this, okay, especially 2025 exam also, okay, much or gives much more emphasis on your judging capability, okay. So, okay, okay, so rather than okay, so this comes from discipline, mental discipline, okay, to know which questions can be solved, which questions have to be left, especially those script arithmetic questions. And UPSC has introduced you, okay, one is that value type of questions, and next one is options where, okay, none of the, where the answer can be derived by using none of the statements, okay, these two are new additions, okay. So UPSC is innovating in these respects, okay. So always, okay, from now on, whenever you start your preparation for CSAT, okay, always, because I have seen in students that, okay, they attempt mocks in one way and they attempt CSAT or the main exam in another way, okay. So synchronize your preparation, synchronize your test giving ability, okay, follow one way, which is the way of rounds. All competitive exams should be done by the way of rounds, okay. You should solve all the easy questions first, then only go for questions that are lengthier, okay. I hope this analysis has given you some idea regarding how to crack CSAT, okay. And for any help for regarding the questions or CSAT in general, okay, we are always there for you, okay. Thank you.